And then you go back from business plans to Darren, like the back office where you mentioned underwriting and how it can expedite and help increase loan volume. But then you also have, again, where do you draw the line of not using AI and making sure that the financials are done correctly, closing's done correctly? Where do you think you draw the line on using AI?
Good question. I mean, I think right now where we're at, I think you can, from an underwriting perspective, you can leverage AI to identify issues, right? It's not necessarily going to give you the answer, but it can at least identify trends, issues, maybe things you got to look at, but it's not replacing a human eye taking a look at something. I don't think at this point in time, and also judging whether it's reasonable and it's a good explanation. I mean, AI is not there yet. I mean, underwriters got to sees an anomaly, ask a question. Does it make sense? Is the story making sense? Does the whole credit look okay? I don't think we're anywhere near that right now, but I think we're there where we're at with AI from underwriting perspective is taking over some of the remedial tasks of spreading, identifying issues, and so forth, but not necessarily making decisions on a strength and weakness type of underwriting.
Well, what about the loans 500 under loans? Like, you
I
know,
mean, I think we're closer on that because those are kind of black and white. I mean, at least with us, the way we process these smaller, certain smaller ones, it's either a pass fail, and it's really, I mean, we don't have really underwriters in that space just because it's more of checking, hey, does this document show this? Is it pass it or not? Type of thing. Or we have a system that checks it as well too.
so I know I placed Allie Schwant with you, correct? And so
Yes.
she's in charge of that sector. Does she utilize AI?
Um, I don't know. I don't think she does. Not any type of financial analysis at this point. But she might in writing emails and so forth. I mean, I know a lot of people do at our bank at this
I
point.
mean, look, everybody is human. I use it for emails. I use it for a couple other things like resume writing a little bit, but I've utilized in the past 2 weeks, the resumes that I've seen, SBA I know is a niche and the people are good at their jobs, but when I don't they just can't write a resume
Well, how can you tell when a resume was written by AI?
because it's perfect. Because a lot of, and that goes into business plans too. So a lot of what I've seen is, you look at a resume, a credit analyst, for example, where there's just words. There's no achievements, acknowledgments. And the first thing that I tell people when I see this is that you have to tell a story. Even it's about you. And the way you tell that is speaking about yourself. You list your achievements, accolades. Have you saved the company money? Every line is a story, beginning, middle, and end. And so for me, actually, you know, I'm going to plug something. As of next week, I decided to start a resume. Well, now I'm sharing my secret. Damn it. I'm doing a resume writing redo. So I'm just like, I spend half an hour on rewriting resumes because I want my candidates to get the best, I want them to be and represented in the best light. And I know that I know what I'm looking for. I know what they're looking for. Sorry, Darren, close your ears for a second. Yeah, for a second. No. But
I guess from now on, I'm gonna have to quiz people about their resume to see if it's actually true, right? So
um, it's not about whether it's like so you get so Brian, right? So for example, I placed, somebody with Brian Meadows, Darren, your credit manager, but it's just Brian actually said it's just words. There's nothing that stands out among the candidate. And for them to be represented in the best light, I'll get the statistics and I'll get the story behind it. And yeah, I might flop it into like chat or something, but that's helped me it's actually, yes, it's helped me, I'll be honest, in getting more interviews and my candidates being seen. That's that's how it's helped me. And when
Which
I
is funny that you say that because in my thought process, I would assume that the word salad that Bethany referred to earlier, that this chat GPT or this AI is producing on business plans, would not necessarily translate into helping you create a better resume because I love whenever I have a better business plan that does highlight all their accolades, that does help us define to the underwriters why we want to lend to them. So I think that's funny.
oh no, actually it correlates it because you don't, when you look at a borrower, Bethany, how many business plans do you prospectively get that they think that when a borrower gives you something like, oh yeah, I have something on paper, and they think it's a good plan, and you're like, no, no.
Yeah, you really have to be diplomatic and, you don't really want to tell people thank you for this, shit sandwich, but we'll make it better. And, you just do. So
I,
that's
I
we
know,
do a lot of that. We do a lot of that. People are like, oh, I had this like 3-page thing, no projections. Is this going to get me a loan? No.
but that's the same
I got a terrible business plan this week. Oh
when.
my gosh, you guys, it was the worst 2 pages of my entire life to read. I was like, y'all, what is this?
But like what made it, that's the thing, like what, when you look at it as a BDO, like when you look at business plans and they're, yeah, and how do you not pull your hair out is what I'm trying to say. And every time I get a bad resume, I'm like, what's going on? What am I doing here? So you know what? I decided to launch something that I'll get paid for. Nobody is doing it. It's like I understand what clients are looking for. Darren, cover your ears. But I get it. And AI, I will utilize this tool to help benefit me moving forward in the representation of candidates so that they're seen better. So
And
it's
listen, Bethany, you might not remember this, but like, I don't know, 4 years ago or so, I gave you my resume and you literally said, what in the hell is this?
Oh no. Oh, no.
no,
Well, I think
So
you bring up a good
I
point
can,
about
I mean, I didn't think my resume was that terrible.
people never think their resumes are that terrible, but it's just
Doesn't
like,
feel like the exact reaction that I had though, by the way.
but it's but it's just like anything else. When you see a business plan or a resume, you want to put your best foot forward. And that's another thing. People don't understand because we're professionals and we see it every day that they don't know how to do it.
Well, I think it's a perfect example of where AI can help, but it's not going to solve everything, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
with Bethany and the business plan, right? It can give you some good information on industry statistics and other things, but it's not going to tell you how to run your business or how you're going to be different or whatever else. Same thing with a resume. It can give you, hey, generic stuff, but you got to still, it's not going to know who you are and your accolades and what you've accomplished. So you got to have that input. So I think there's a mix there where you can make both work together.
Yeah.
Yes, you can, but it's amazing how when I saw a workout officer resume today. Nothing in there was, hey, I've saved the company X, was, reduced X. It was just words. And so AI is teaching me actually on how to give advice to candidates. You know what? And even clients too. So it's just like on the client side, you want to make sure that, for example, who was I working with? Oh, Michael Johnston, right? So he was looking for a closer, and I generated somebody's resume by my own fruition, and we talked
But do we
about,
have to have a fraud detection like on your stuff, like the SBA did on all these loans?
no, but no, I'm getting, I sit down with the candidate and give them statistics, and Michael from Bankwell is a big, he's part of a fintech. So he's going to take his information and the way he does things, he's more AI focused, he's more getting things done, and the way he just does things is it's brilliant. He runs his operation and he knows how to do it, but he utilizes the tools to help him grow the business. And how you do that, it depends on each bank. Like, right, Darren, your bank, Lyndsey, your bank. So when you look at these tools, it's going to be different for each bank. So Lyndsey, how do you think your bank can utilize and make it more precise, grow the portfolio? How do you think that you can use AI to do that without hurting
I
human?
think back to I think back to Darren's point, on the commercial side with being hybrid, maybe it'll make it more functional on how we build out our memos to our underwriters, so that it helps save them time on the back end. So the AI can generate certain statistics, to obviously identify maybe competition, or even take the IBIS world or the vertical IQ type technology and put it in for our demographic, like wherever that loan is originating from, to be more specific. Maybe that'll help our underwriters, because that's some of the things we don't ask for on business plans for the commercial side, whereas SBA, we need it. And
Yeah.
that's identified. So maybe that'll be.
Lyndsey, I just spoke to a company yesterday that's looking at doing that. They're taking data, getting it down to the county level or zip code level to compare it to benchmarks against, loans you're looking
Other
at.
markets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that'll be helpful. And then maybe there's some type of Coleman report, data that's going to be able to help on the commercial end at some point. Maybe the AI will help generate those kind of things for us, but I don't think it's going to take away from jobs. If anything, I think it'll make maybe more efficient, so that it would be able to help their growth portfolio naturally, not because we're losing a job or saving money on, canning people. And if anything, I think that it would create jobs, due to the demand of the portfolio growing. So like PM jobs, where they hire portfolio managers, and things like that. So I think naturally it's going to take care of itself. I think that there may be some banks that are going to be slow to grab in or gravitate to that AI technology, because they just are afraid of it. But I think it could do some good.
I mean, I think we compare this. Remember when the internet came out and everyone said, bank branches are gone. All this is going to be gone. We're going to be doing everything. I mean,
ATMs are taking over. Yeah.
It's just going to be a tool to make us more productive, is what it's going to be. I mean, that's.
But then how do you explain like what I just said? 5 closures from Fifth Third, right? Job's gone. And First Bank of the Lake, gone. I know you don't want to lose that human touch, but it's hard to kind of like it's hard to what are the words when you see downsizing,
Well,
because
they either figured it out or it's a shit show, like we really don't know. We got to call some people and figure it out.
Yeah, we'll see, because when they eliminated the closers and then when First Bank of the Lake eliminated that 15%, well, I guess we'll see. I've seen a surge of, workout going on. So I have like a lot of workout.
But Bethany, I think the part that we want to remind ourselves is that they may cut that job, but that doesn't mean that they didn't put it back on the BDO. So there's no way that they're going to put themselves in a situation where they've lost their SBA guarantee. They're going to make somebody do it, and then there's going to be a report that somebody's going to have to follow back up on, which maybe it's a portfolio person, maybe it's a one specific closer that's now the specialist over the entire file. But I promise you, they're putting something back on the BDO's plate for that particular part, and maybe it's not completely all AI that they're focusing on.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just changing their ratios for BDOs to processors to closers, that they're just downsizing that. But if you're saying they got rid of that whole department and replaced it with AI, I'm telling you, they're putting something else on other people's plates.
I think it's been about 3 months, and so we'll see what Fifth Third has, and First Bank of the Lake, I know I saw postings for, they're growing again, but eliminating that 500 and under space, that was like a pretty big hit to people. You don't have that. I've never seen that where you let go of a whole department because you're developing your own software system. I mean, like Darren, you implemented Spark, right?
Right.
So
Cool.
yeah, I know. Nick Elders is great. How is it like has it like saved you time, effort, energy, and then you're using AI in addition to that? I want to formulate the question, but does I guess from my understanding, Spark definitely saves you time.
Correct. I mean, they're coming out with AI stuff with it. I wouldn't say there's AI with it when we started using it 2 years ago now, I think it's been. So it was more to digitize the application and just make it all electronic and digitized and have a space where everyone knew what was going on with the deal instead of everything spread out across who knows where.
So organizationally, you know, it's helped in the back office make it more organized. So maybe with like Spark and Sino, these software systems, do you think, again, we're speculating that they'll use AI tools in addition to what they've already created to make it an easier flow work process?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think the AI there is understanding, hey, what documents do I need for this type of deal? What is this the right document in the right placeholder? Did they? That's the biggest things we deal with right now, right? Documents, everything we have to deal with in the SBA, and it's still an issue of, hey, I might be asking for a 2024 tax return, but I get 3 pages instead of all 25, right?
Right.
So that's where AI and other stuff can come in, where someone still needs to can do analysis or look at the analysis, but we got to make the AI can check to make sure, is that document really what it's supposed to be, for example.
Well, but that's part of the whole big question, like AI and SBA lending and the platforms that you guys utilize. Like, what do you guys use? You don't use Spark, do you?
No.
What do you guys use?
Salesforce, Encino, whatever you want to call it.
So then I guess so for you as the BDO, Salesforce and Encino and using the AI tools on top of it, can it hurt you or help you?
I think that's one of those things that we'll find out because I have not personally leaned too heavy into the AI world. Like I'll chat GBT like funny things, like my
Yeah.
dogs.
I know you got the cutest dog. She just got the cutest puppy. I'm like, no, I'm gonna kidnap him.
I know. So there's like little things like that that I'll use it for. But professionally speaking, I haven't dove off into that world. So actually, I'm gonna email Darren later and be like, "How do you use AI for emails? Maybe that'll save me time
I can
because
tell
that
you
sounds
too.
pretty interesting."
It's
I mean, hey, listen,
I'm still writing. I'm still writing them. It's just I'm not very good at English. I never did well in school, so it's making me sound a little bit more professional, or however
which
what
is
tone I
funny
want to
to
do.
me that you're writing books. Like, coincidentally, sir, not good with English, but you got a series of books out. So I just
no that
I
Darren,
don't know.
wait, Darren, you have books out?
Not that I know of.
No, that's Michael
That's,
Bland.
Oh,
that's
Yeah,
Michael Bland does.
I was gonna say
Sorry.
I don't like reading books. I don't imagine writing one would be very easy
Sorry.
for me either. So
I
Darren,
got
I'm just over here
my
crying my
word
eyes out
salads
that you're
crossed.
not
okay,
reading.
we're getting the
That's
panels
okay.
crossed over here. I
Just
mean,
please get a library card.
yeah, no, But the way you manipulate things, what's scary is the way you can manipulate AI is if you put the tone of an email, the make it sound more simplistic, more professional, and it does it in seconds,
yeah,
seconds, and that's the scary part. Like,
Well, if you use it for what it is, it's a language learning model, and we use it for blog posts, like to reword blog posts, or to I actually I wrote an article about how AI
You did?
should not be used to write business plans. And I asked AI to give me 10 reasons why it should not be writing SBA business plans. And it was like, well, as a matter of fact, we should not be doing it for these reasons. So,
Interesting.
yeah, I mean, listen, you can kind of get it to spit out what you needed to say.
That and in the end run, that's what you say. That's what exactly what I'm trying to convey. In seconds, it can write a crappy business plan, but it also can do a perfect email. So AI spans in so many ways, and every bank, every individual will utilize it in a different way. So in the long run, you don't want to lose that personal touch, but the way AI is trending, it's increasing business.
So you guys, I want to tell you, I read this book by this physicist that has been on TV and stuff like that, a guy called Michio Kaku, and he wrote this book about quantum computing. And in this book, he said that it's not that quantum computers are going to take people's jobs. It's that the people that know how to use quantum computers are going to take the jobs of the people that don't know how to use them. And so I think this is the same thing with AI. AI is not going to take our jobs, but the people that know how to use AI are going to take the jobs of people that don't use it as a tool.
That's a really good point because I've learned so much from AI and how
Here's that smart stuff we're talking about,
there you
Brittany.
go. It's true because you're gonna hire people that will make it better and how to utilize the AI like anything. Like if somebody, Darren, you'll hire somebody that already knows Spark, or like Bethany, like you'll hire somebody that is an AI genius. So the people that I don't want to say this without getting in trouble. The way the forward thinking is going, or our industry is moving, it's towards technology. And I think that a lot of it comes from a generational gap, right? So,
I think you're going to see SBA adopting a lot of this too as well. I mean, look at them
Mm.
with the workforce reduction they had. They're going to be
Yeah.
forced to.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, hiring a different kind of person, you're not looking at your typical, like, let's look at the BDO, right? You know, a BDO, like, well, Lyndsey, you're young though. I mean, like, getting somebody that's, a little bit more experienced isn't going to utilize the AI factor. Oh no, Darren, that's what we were talking about with Chelsea. You want to step up your team and
Yeah.
educate them on utilizing tools you never would have ordinarily used. Whether it's AI, how to get LinkedIn, profiles, how do you, work with brokers, like all of that, all that encompassed.
Well, let's go back to the seasonality. We want to be a well-rounded team, so don't discount the seasoned BDO,
I'm
even
not
though I don't know how to use technology.
I'm not. You know what? Because they need
So I'm
to.
the one that's going to make sure we don't lose that eligibility. Yeah, that eligibility question is going to be checked
No,
off, and we're not losing that good team.
Lyndsey, you're in that space where you know your stuff, but a couple years from now, you're going to be teaching these other, BDOs about how you're doing things with come on, what's the word? What's the word? What's the word? Enhanced technology.
I am
So, and even
using that
Darren, your
AI
friend Bethany,
more efficient.
Bethany just said she has like, how many college students or whatever?
Okay, but don't get excited. I had one of these interns go through all of our data to pull stuff out or whatever, so we could do a webinar for Ray Drew or whatever. And this intern says to me, she's like, "Oh, I had AI write a script for me so it could pull out all the." It was shit. It was incorrect on basically every line item. So don't get too
Yeah, it's like, all right, let's just go
I mean,
hit her in
and
the
when I start I was really scared when AI came out. I was like, oh my gosh, this is my livelihood. And when I started using it, I was like, oh, it's not an efficient way to get this thing done that we need to do. So
No, and actually that's a really good point to the human touch, right?
yeah.
You could plug in words to sound,
Personalized.
yeah, you could personalize it and say or sound a certain way, but it's still you at the end of the day. It's just like a resume. It's still you, but we're just enhancing it. And so back office, BDOs, business plans, it definitely enhances it. It doesn't normalize the humanness of what we need today. So
I'm interested to see though in the long run where we want to grow the organization to be more efficient, what risks are the banks taking by replacing that job? So I mean, I think that that's the future look of how can we tell how their loan loss reserves are doing in a couple of months. These banks that you've mentioned, how are they doing now that they've replaced these folks with AI? So it'll be interesting to see, because those SBA default rates, I mean, we all know that, if you've got working capital that's, more than 50% of your loan that you're giving out, those had higher default rates. Were we able to have avoided those, or were those specifically AI loans that were handled by, somebody wasn't touching it? So I think it'll be interesting to see how some of these statistics play out. But again, there's somebody that's pulling a report to go back and find that data.
But thanks, guys, again for joining me.
See y'all later.
You're
Bye.
welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys. You guys are great.